Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. We all hope you had a lovely weekend during lockdown again. We did.
Yes.
What can you do when you're locked in the house, John? But listen, you can
Absolutely
get out your garden if
nothing,
you have got one, or a veranda if you're living in a flat/apartment. But listen, I'll move on because I'm digressing already. David Koepp, or Koepp, I don't know his name, John. You know it. It's he's got a new trailer out for Blumhouse movie You Should Have Left. Get trailer release date. Now,
I'm just sorting the animations out in the background there, Stephen. Sorry
you
about
do that, John. But
shambles.
what do you think of this trailer? Kevin Bacon, one of your favourite actors. He's back doing one of those genres that you enjoyed with him in, what was it called again?
Stir of Echoes.
The Stir of Echoes,
I'm just looking at this filter.
1999. Oh, it's stunning, isn't it?
Yes, I look like Yul Brynner from the Ten Commandments. I look like Ramesses. So.
Yeah.
I
still go home.
Yeah. What did I make of it, Stephen? It was a very, very exciting trailer, I have to say. It ticked all of the boxes that I want to see.
How do you say his name?
David Koepp, I say. But
Koepp.
it may be Koepp. I don't know the man. It may be Koepp, it may be Koepp. But when these two guys, I presume, last worked together, they may have worked in the ensuing years, but certainly in Stir of Echoes, it was a painful experience to watch when I was a lot more youthful than what I am just now. And not painful in a bad way, painful in a sense that it was a very unnerving watch. Talk to me! Speaking through the TV to the little boy or whatever girl they had.
Yeah.
Him in the theatre dreaming on his own in the pitch black, a normally relaxed setting for people like us watching movies, and he's in it with this scary looking rubber-legged ghost. It was a deeply uncomfortable experience, and that was down to the acting talents of one Kevin Bacon and the directing talents of one David Koepp, whatever you call him.
Koepp. And
then you fling in Amanda Seyfried, and she looks very, very good as well, as a sort of female joint lead with Bacon. The little girl, the concept of them moving to this dream house, it's a modern, ultra-modern setting, and it all looks well. It looks like happily ever after is going to be happening for this family. Things start going downhill. And they do say it's almost like Stir of Echoes meets What Lies Beneath, because
that's what it reminds me of.
There is a ghostly entity within this house, but it's almost picking up in some wrongdoings and misdeeds within the actual title or characters. I'm pretty sure maybe the wife says at the end, I think the sense of this movie is Hit knows more about them than they actually know about each other, so it seems to sense some dark, nefarious stuff going on within these characters, and it's coming out through that. It's almost manifesting.
I think there's a clue in the title as well, John. You Should Have Left. I think whatever this being is, whatever it is, this sort of entity, whatever, I think it's warning them. It's giving them a chance, and they don't obviously listen. Now, we'll move on to the visuals of the trailer as well, John. There was a few visuals in there that really impressed me. Obviously, the Kevin Bacon reflection one, which, with a keen eye, you have to see it. You know,
love that.
Yeah, my camera's playing tricks on me.
Camera's doing very badly.
This doesn't look
early on as
good.
well.
Yeah, the other visual was obviously
I'll sort it, don't worry about it. If it goes off, I'll sort it, Stephen.
Was the lady in the bath, the girl in the bath with those sort of how would you put it? Those eyes, you know, those kind of frosted glass look eyes, you know, under the water. Very freaky stuff.
It's an olive. Eyes are like olives. I always recall, Stephen, a little sidetrack moment here. It was one of these sort of Jerry Springer type shows, and she came on and she was scared of olives. Okay. And they were bringing it to a head on this show, and it's because she went to her grandfather's funeral, and the corpse popped out of the coffin, or the casket, open casket, eyes opened, and there were olives, and it terrorised and tormented this woman right into her adulthood. That's what that reminded me of. It was very freaky, and again, it was like Stir of Echoes, What Lies Beneath, the visuals. The vibes I'm getting, it's claustrophobic, it's stuck within this house. It's an examination of these two characters, what they have done, who's guilty here, what is causing this entity to come out and harass them and terrorise them in this house. Right up my street. It looks like an intelligent horror, but it does have some of the cheap parlour tricks we see in the horror genre, some of the jump scares, but I think it's elevated by Bacon. I may be wrong, but this guy doesn't seem to do a great many movies now. I mean, they're usually pretty decent.
Yeah,
in the main.
Exactly. I don't think he has to, John. That's the thing. You know, he's served his time as an actor.
He's doing adverts
he
for
can
EE.
pick and choose. They're good. They're good.
Too.
They are good. Adverts. But what was I going to say? I was going to say there was something in the trailer that kind of bugged me, and it was I don't know if it was a big reveal or anything like that, but it looks like it's too late for them. I don't know if that's a spoiler for you, but something that it reminded me of 1408. You know, that one with John Cusack, where basically he was stuck in this hell forever, and it looks like it's going down that road. You know, if that's a reveal, then it looks like there's no way out for them. I don't know, obviously, maybe we'll have alternative endings, just like 1408 did. But another thing, it does have an Amityville vibe to it as well, you know, as well as Stir of Echoes and What Lies Beneath, two excellent films. And it was that What Lies Beneath, the Robert Zemeckis film, isn't it?
Yes.
That this trailer reminded me of the most. So, I don't know. Listen, John, you're panicking here, but I'm actually watching us on.
Yes, there
so
you go.
Don't worry.
Thank God,
if
Stephen.
I saw anything wrong there, John had a little bit of a moment there.
I didn't think the stream was live, Stephen. I was scared. As I'm looking at the control room in YouTube studio and it's saying connect streaming. It's terrorising me here. Terrorising me.
Well,
but no, we're live. Good.
Yes. So for now, anyway,
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
let's not put all eggs in one basket.
Very good trailer, though, Stephen.
It was.
Very,
I enjoyed it, John. I didn't know anything about this till today. You picked up on it.
Yeah.
We watched the trailer, blown away with it. Thought it was fantastic. This is going to be another successful film. I can feel it. You know, obviously not just because Kevin Bacon's in it, but just the sort of concept of it as well, and the visuals. That's what really pulled me in, was the visuals. You know, so we'll just have to see, John. I don't know if it's got a release date or anything like that. If it's too early, I don't know.
Debuts on VOD. In the
better.
June 19th, so we can probably review it, Stephen. Fantastic.
You beauty.
It's not far
Or
away
as we
at all.
say in Scotland, you dancer.
Yes.
But listen, we'll move on to our next topic, John. It's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Karen Gillan, one of our very own, wants Nebula to rebuild her life.
Changing, Stephen, so I'll have to do it manually. Damn you to hell.
Listen, we'll get there.
We're miles out here, Stephen. We've got about 50 million topics open, so I will quickly try and deal with this shambles. If you want to keep talking, Stephen.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I will give her away till you get that sorted, John. Now, Karen Gillan says this. This is obviously the aftermath of Endgame. She says she's someone who's dealt with abuse from a father from such a young age. Can see it down there now. In Avengers, she had to face the source of her abuse and then actually watch him get eliminated from her life. This is talking obviously about Thanos. Then Gillan shared she's eager to see a future Nebula in the sense of what she's going to be like now.
Yes.
That source of abuse has gone out of her life. How's she going to build herself back up? Karen Gillan had this to say: I'm interested to maybe try and take her to a place now where she starts to rebuild her life. Well, it's not really up to you, Karen. It's up to the writers and the director where she goes. But
it's up to James.
But she has an interest. She says she's interested to see where this character's going. We all are, you know, because how can I say this? She's one of the most interesting characters in the MCU. You know, she's such a complex character. You know, and you know, Karen Gillan's a fantastic actor as well. But there's so much trauma in her past life with her. You know, the relationship with her father, relationship with her half sister as well. They left it in a good place, I felt. You know, after the Endgame with the two sisters. So it's going to be very interesting, John. What's your take on this? Where do you think Nebula is going to go? It's funny because in the first volume she was a very serious character. Yeah. By volume 2. She was lightening up a little bit, and obviously by the time of, you know, Infinity War and Endgame, there's some comic moments in there for her, so they've really changed the tone of her character, so you can really take her anywhere, can't you? Yeah,
you can, Stephen. There is scope there to do anything, really. At the start, as you did say, she was very stuffy. She was obsessed with being better than her sister, half-sister, Gamora. And it was just that battle of the siblings continually, a literal battling in this case, not just verbal battling and whatnot that you would see in a normal family unit. They were just vying for the sort of the eye and the affection of Thanos in a sense, and that put that character in a very stuffy, contained situation at the start of her stint in the MCU. And obviously, as she has developed as a character moving on throughout the movie she's been in, you're right, she started to lighten up. It's almost mirroring the journey Stephen we've seen before. In his time in the MCU, he started off as a sort of Shakespearean, stuffy character. He's very serious, very up his own arse, arrogant, cocksure, whatever terminology you want to use. That continued through maybe the Dark World, and then he started to lighten up. And as we got to Ragnarok, that did wonders for Chris Hemsworth, and obviously Taika Waititi's creative license, it allowed him to ad-lib in things. It was more fun, it was more humorous, and the character just felt totally different. It felt renewed, and I see this as a potential route they can take for Nebula going forward. For Karen Gillan, she has got funny moments in her. We've seen it in the Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Jumanji, whatever the hell that other one was that I didn't actually watch, The Next Level.
The Next Level.
She bounced off the likes of Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, very funny guys at times.
Yeah.
And she held her own, and she was very, very funny. So I could certainly see them going down a more comedic route with this character. If she is going to be spending more time with the Guardians and whatnot, it's going to be necessary. We're going to have Chris Hemsworth in there, hopefully, continuing his battle with Peter.
He is billed,
well, along with Star-Lord and whatnot. You've got Rocket Raccoon. They're a very funny group, a dynamic group. And with this story, I feel anyway, going to be all about the journey to try and find Gamora and bring her back. She done a runner at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
Try and find her. She's out of time. She's maybe confused. Bring her in, re-immerse her into this unit. What better way than for perhaps Nebula to be this sort of bubbling, more funny, not bubbling, she's not bubbling type, but more funny and part of the gang. Maybe there's times past since Endgame, they've built up camaraderie. I'd love to see the character being rebuilt, and I'd love to see her casting off the shackles of this abusive past that she had. You've seen it in Endgame, he's taken her apart. And
she's a bit of a tragic character, John, but
shocking guy.
She's definitely
shocking
in a
dad.
better, a bad dad,
Yes.
He'll not win Father of the Year, but it's a character that you can build on, though. You know that she came from one place and where she ends up is going to be another thing. But very interesting, obviously. I can't wait to see, obviously, the Guardians back. We went to see the original movie 2014, was it, John?
Yes, hilarious, man.
I wasn't really keen. I've got to be honest, I wasn't really keen on going to see this film. I didn't really know too much about this, band of heroes, and you talked me into going to see this film, and at the time it was my favourite MCU film. It's just something different, something...
It was music,
there was light moments, obviously. There was comedy in there, it was littered with comedy, but...
The intro.
Yeah,
it was just, Sonny Walkman, the dancing,
it's just everything about it was just so different to what we were used to, and that kind of paved the way for Ragnarok as well, that you could bring that kind of humour. It was acceptable to bring in more humour into the MCU. People say, the late Star Wars film, etc., it's too Marvel humour. That shouldn't be a negative, I think Marvel do it well, and they seem to sort of covered all angles, in their own characters and making sure they're not silly. It's not silly humour at times. With silly characters, it can be. I know you're preoccupied there, John. You're doing double duties today, so you'll be getting double pay, I'm sure. But listen, we'll move on to our third topic, John. I hope so as well.
John Favreau's back again. He's back again.
Favreau just can't keep away. But this is the Matrix, actually.
Is it the Matrix?
It's the Matrix, yes. It's Keanu Reeves explains why he came back for the fourth movie. Now,
what is going on with
Keanu
these
Reeves,
topics,
John, I was surprised, obviously, when they were thinking about doing this again. But Keanu Reeves, there you go. The one, Thomas Anderson.
Shambles.
Neo. You're back. And he is back. He's back for a fourth instalment, John. And he had this to say. In the latest edition of Empire magazine, Keanu said Lana Wachowski wrote a beautiful script and a wonderful story that resonated with me. That's the only reason to do it. To work with her again is just amazing. It's been really special, and the story has, I think, some meaningful things to say and that we can take some nourishment from. Well, we can't because we've not read the script,
yes,
Keanu. But listen, you're a man of your word, and I'll base those very few finer details as gospel. One of the questions, obviously, John, why go back? Why, I know he's saying it's a beautiful script, etc., etc. But from an audience's point of view, I'm not just asking Keanu Reeves this, but obviously the Wachowskis as well. Why are we going back to this universe?
Yes, why are we going back to this universe, Steve? And that's a question that's been pondered many, many times by many, many people. Fans of film, critiques of film.
Yeah.
Some would say that the universe is done, the franchise is a very finished thing, that there's no need at all to be going back and doing prequels, and because we already know what happens and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Matrix Revolutions was a shit fest. It was a shocking movie. But they're doing it. And look, I'm sort of happy to see that Keanu is taking great faith from the script, that he's read it and he thinks it's good enough that he can come back and actually earn a Koepp, maybe damaging his reputation in the midst of this Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Obviously with John Wick, and he's going back and doing that other one, Bill and Ted, that I've never seen any of those movies. It's way before. It wasn't way before my time, but it was slightly before my time.
Yeah.
So
well, I think the first one came out in '89, John. So
there you go. The fact that he's willing to risk his reputation, not reputation, because this isn't the franchise that almost defined him in a sense. It rejuvenated him in the early 2000s. He was a different guy. He was almost like he wasn't like Jim Carrey, because he did Speed and whatnot, but
yeah,
he was a different type of actor. He then was catapulted to even greater stardom in the early 2000s with The Matrix. But the fact that he's willing to come back and maybe tarnish what he'd built with this character, it's very, very exciting indeed. Will I be going to watch this movie? Time will tell. I will probably wait until I've got more information than just the actors waxing lyrically about a movie. They're still in the midst of creating. I'm not going to belittle the story and say it's an absolute pile of shite, guys. I'm just coming back from the money. But we have got Carrie-Anne Moss in there as well, and she is kind of a backing it up, that the script is pretty damn decent. She says, when it was brought to me in a way that brought to me the incredible depth and all the integrity and the artistry that you can imagine, this is a gift. So it's all very exciting, she ends with, and fans should be cautiously optimistic. Well, I'm excited, but I'm disappointed once again that Morpheus doesn't appear to be coming back. Lawrence Fishburne isn't coming back. Is it going to be Michael B. Jordan or whatnot they're going to get in? He was linked with the role.
Oh, a recast, okay.
A recast, sort of a younger, more youthful version of the character. Maybe they're going back, try to change history so it can give us a more uplifting, happy ever after ending. I don't know.
It's going to be strange that two characters that died at the end of Revolutions is going back in time, but how do they do it? I don't know. But listen, it's still scheduled for 21st of May 2021, John. Whether or not we'll keep that release date, who knows. But it was actually going to be up against John Wick, wasn't it, at one point? But I think that's out the window now. But listen,
it's never going to work anyway, Steve. No. John Wick's a far superior franchise.
And why would you want to do that as well? You know, it's kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face. But listen, John, we'll move on to our fourth topic now.
Hopefully I've got the graphic right here.
It's Jon Favreau. You've been dying to get in there, John. So,
Steve, what happened here? I'm going to explain myself here. Obviously, I've put the graphics together. We've then come up with an ordering for these topics, which is slightly different to the way I've done the graphics. I've macroed all of the graphics. It's a complete shambles because it's out of order, so do apologise.
John. It's all trying and tested.
We'll get there. If you've seen my first live streams,
well, I was looking back at 2 weeks ago's version of a show, you know, if you can call it that, you know, and it was almost like a Zoom call, you know. It was very, it was, you know, it was what it was. But listen, we're still trying to adjust ourselves into sort of live stuff anyway. You know, anyone that's been following us for the last 2 years know all our stuff was pre-produced. You know, some cuts here and there, but we've got no safety net now, so we'll move on. Jon Favreau, John, he has got a few things he has to say. The creator behind the Star Wars show notes post-production is on schedule for an October launch on Disney+. This is season 2 of The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau had this to say: "We were lucky enough to have finished photography before lockdown." And he also said, I think he was talking to Vanity Fair, thanks to how technology forward Lucasfilm and ILM are, we have been able to do all our visual effects and editing and post-production remotely through systems that have been set up by those companies for us, John. Now, I wish they'd come and sort ours as well, but I think they might be out of our price range for the time being anyway.
Yes,
but I mean, it's an article, John, that's really just reminding us, you know, that everything's on schedule. Jon Favreau's just sort of given us some comforting words that anyone out there who's a fan of the Mandalorian series, everything's on track and it's still penciled in or penned in for the October release on Disney Plus, the streaming channel now, John.
Exciting.
One of the things I'll bring up before we talk about this very short article is, you know, the timing of this. We finished up doing the Force Friday shows, I think maybe about a few weeks before The Mandalorian hit the UK audiences. So we've not really ever talked about The Mandalorian, apart from that time we were doing the trailer. And we've got a large audience in for that one because I think they all thought we were on the red carpet, presenting this trailer, which we weren't. We were just talking about the trailer.
Yes.
apart from that, we've not really covered this series, John. I'm going to let you know my thoughts before I hand it over to you.
Yes.
After watching that series, I was very excited about this. It was finally we're getting a live action television series. George Lucas had talked about this for years in the sort of late 90s to early 2000s, and it never came to anything. Obviously, when Disney took over and George, handed the reins over to Kathleen Kennedy, I thought it was dead in the water. I'll be honest with you. I thought I can't really see Disney doing this. This was obviously before the streaming channel was announced. Then it was announced, The Mandalorian. It's a cool race of people. Is that the right terminology?
Yeah, they're from Mandalore. They're a warring sort of race. So different clans and different ideologies. Yeah, something that read about, skimmed over. I wasn't really too familiar exactly what the purpose in this galaxy was, but it was just to have a live action television series that excited me. Watching it though, I don't know, it wasn't, I'm not going to say it was an anticlimax or anything like that. It was very well produced, looked stunning, great acting as well, but there was something, I don't know if it was just me trying to adjust myself into shorter sort of episodic way of doing Star Wars, if you know what I mean. There's something about it. Yeah, 27 minutes.
It was almost soap opera-ish. I don't know if that's a bit of a disservice saying it's a bit of a soap opera.
It was like it was like Star Wars meets EastEnders. That's exactly what it was like. It was like, here's another adventure of this guy on a tiny little planet in a tiny little backwater town, rolling about fighting with some huge lizard creature. Well, it was more like a rhino creature, in all honesty. I enjoyed it though, Stephen. I did. I enjoyed the standard. I liked the different directing flares. We obviously had the likes of Bryce Dallas Howard, Taika Waititi, with Dave Filoni. I think we had Deborah Chow, who's now directing the actual Obi-Wan series. I liked all the different styles, the stylistic changes episode to episode. I did enjoy Pedro Pascal's take, although incidentally he didn't actually he wasn't physically in the suit in every single episode. There was stunt doubles and whatnot. So that kind of, when that came out in the middle of me watching it, that was a little bit alarming. It put me off a bit, just knowing that he wasn't in it in some episodes. It's like, this is wrong, it should be Pedro Pascal. But I enjoyed it in the main. I actually did enjoy it. But you're right, there was elements of it that was quite sitcomish, just soap opera-ish. It was down, what's happening in a Tatooine clone town, what's happening with the Mandalorians. He goes down into this sort of clan brotherhood type thing, and she's smelting new bits of armour. There was elements of it that was strange, a little bit jarring when you're, for the most part, you're used to big blockbuster movies which are balls to the wall action. Also, we had the likes of the Clone Wars, which should have conditioned you to it to an extent, but that wasn't live action. You could disconnect that from the movies in a sense. But look, what I'm excited about from this article, it's saying the filmmaker was joined by Mandalorian directors, and it goes on to list them all. I hope that some of these guys have actually come back for the second season. I don't know if they were shooting it back to back. I don't know, because it all seemed very frenetic. They shot it got released, and then they were right into season 2. I think it was greenlit before the first season even wrapped. So I hope it's a sort of Endgame Infinity War setup, or maybe Lord of the Rings setup, where it's just ran straight concurrent right into the next production, and we have the likes of Waititi in there again, because I really enjoyed what these different directors brought, and I think that's something they should continue moving forward. I know that Deborah Chow is doing the Obi-Wan series on her lonesome, but she's also shown enough flair and talent behind the camera to catch her eye, and then she's now been given a series all on her own. But I'm excited for it, man.
Was it confirmed that Boba Fett would appear in this? Is that just rumour at the moment?
It seemed to be confirmed, but I think it was heavily rumoured. I don't know if it was confirmed. No. It was semi-confirmed via heavy rumours. I think it came from good sources that he is going to be popping up in it. And look, they have to bring this character in eventually. Well, John, everyone knows he's not dead. He didn't die in a Sarlacc pit.
This is the thing, isn't it? This is probably the first, and it's such a big leap as well for Lucasfilm to actually, go back into their own canon, and bring something back that was in doubt for since 1983, really, about this character, whether or not he survived or not. It was always a big debate, and obviously when the internet became a thing, it was the big talking point on the Force.net, places like that. But it's such a big news, it's such, for this character to come back, we've always said we're not the biggest fans of Boba Fett or anything like that, but I can appreciate the character, and the passion that a lot of Star Wars fans have for the character. He is a cult figure, You know, that's not a bad thing. You know, but there's so much, you know, that'll have to be explained, surely. Or do we leave it a mystery? I don't know. You know, Star Wars has a habit of leaving things like that a mystery. You know,
you can fill it in with a novel.
Maz Kanata, you know, that's a story for another time. We never got it, you know.
I don't think we ever will now, Stephen Tyler, which is a shame, really. Because, I mean, it's Lupita Nyong'o. She's one of the best actors out there just now, Oscar winning. If they could somehow bring her back for a TV show on Disney Plus, I mean, she's been living forever, really. She's almost like Yoda-esque in her age. So I mean, you could go back and do so many things with her. She's such
Bring
a
the pirates in,
She's got a level of wisdom, but she's also conniving and nefarious like a Han Solo character. Stephen, a little side thing to this though, we have got a guy who was the Extraction director, Sam Hargraves. He came on as a second unit director, working in conjunction. I don't know if he was directing, but he's certainly on the set, producing and helping. And he's been speaking about it. And again, you mentioned technology. Jon Favreau speaking about the technology, how it's helped him remote produce or do remote post-production for this. He's been speaking in depth about some of the techniques they use. Obviously, they use some traditional blue screen and traditional shooting. But also, he's been speaking about this technology that I know Favreau sort of coined. Him and James Cameron are almost like the two that are battling out pioneering technology in film just now. He's called it, he actually says the name, the volume, and it's like a big not CGI, it's like a big sort of screen that comes round and they work within it, and it's like you're in an actual live action setting.
Right, okay.
You're living, breathing on this planet. And he's been speaking about how this elevates performances, how it elevates the feel on the actual set.
I think as well, John, from a technical point of view, it actually helps like reflection and stuff like that, doesn't it? Because do you remember?
It's going to help with the post as well. It's going to speed it up if it's actually there.
Do you remember those sort of globes they used to use, the sort of metallic ball, you know, to get the right lighting and stuff like that? Obviously, this is the new way of doing that, you know, and you've got that. And you're right, you know, to have that and on the set as well can only improve the actor's performance. You know, to have something to work against rather than just having a plain green screen, you know. But I think as well, you know, it does help obviously with things like lighting, reflection, you know, but most importantly obviously the actors' reactions. But listen, it's good to see, you know, it's on course. I'm thinking this season is going to be, I don't want to say improve as if the first one was a letdown. It wasn't a letdown. I'm just not choosing my words carefully here. But
they're bringing back Gina Carano, and she was great alongside the Mandalorian. So
you know, I think they're obviously going to raise a bar. You know, and I think I would have liked to have kept, if it has been confirmed that Boba Fett is coming back, that would have been some reveal if they just kept it under the hood, you know. But obviously, you know, there's been talk about I can't remember the actor's name that played, you know, voiced him, the Jango Fett. I can't remember his name, but there is obviously talk about.
I know James Mangold was supposed to be directing a Boba Fett movie. Tamura Morrison.
That's the one. Yeah. From Moana.
Yeah, fantastic actor.
But great listen, another good actor, John.
Yes. Try and get this graphic right.
Great action actor. That's Frank Grillo, John.
A bit dodgy there.
He cast doubt on MCU return as Captain America villain Crossbones. We all know that he came to an end. And I can't remember what one it was actually.
Civil War.
Yeah.
First 10 minutes.
Yeah, down in the sort of market area, wasn't it? Yeah, first 10 minutes. Shocking stuff.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Done him in.
And he was asked. If he would be pursuing any comic book properties in the future, such as a possible new Punisher project on Disney Plus. Grillo stated, "That's not in my trajectory now. It's not where my life is taking me anymore." And my friend John Bernthal did an amazing job. Wholeheartedly agree there. My life and what I want to do is much different now, and I think I'm outgrowing that whole kind of Marvel and superhero thing, says Frank Billy Big Boss Grillo.
Yes, he's outgrown that whole part of his life.
Yeah.
Frank, many people would say that's the only thing that made you relevant as an actor. Being Crossbones, being Rumlow.
Yeah.
Or Roomlows, I think I called them at one point.
Rumbelows.
Rumbelows, yes. That was what made him relevant as an actor for me. I've now took an interest in him after that. And look, what they continue on to say in the end of this article is very true. He brings a sort of energetic vibe to the set and to the characters and to the story. This is a guy that is well versed in choreography and stuff like that. He helps with the action sequences tremendously. I mean, him speaking. I can't recall if it was on Collider Live or something about an action movie that he was shooting. Now he was getting right down with also the other choreographers, if I can say it, and stuntmen and stuff like that. And he was getting hands on and working with it. So I could imagine him working with a Chris Evans on the set, working in conjunction with all the other people. And that would be a unique vibe that you're losing from the set when he's not there. And what they do say, Stephen, and another reason why I would hope that he's maybe double bluffing here, is that he is such a major character in the comics. I think dating back to the 1980s.
Yeah.
He's been a sort of arch nemesis to Captain America, obviously alongside the likes of Red Skull and whatnot. He was never properly utilised for me in the actual MCU. It was just a character that was badly let down. Also, we got the Rumble version of it in The Winter Soldier. By the time Civil War came, they became actual Crossbones. It was a bit of a disaster, as you did say. First 10 minutes, he's killed off. We don't see him ever again. And this is one of the arch nemesis for Captain America. And as I did say to you before we came on, there's so much scope still to be done or taken with this character. Even though Steve Rogers is gone now, he's in the past, living with Peggy Carter and dancing and whatnot, and maybe taking some halves for maybe the nerves after all that nonsense that Tony Stark put him through during the Infinity Saga. Even though he's gone, we've still got Sam, we've still got Falcon and the Winter Soldier and all of those vibes, him and Bucky, and some of the travails they're going to get up to on Disney Plus. Hopefully numerous seasons of that great show. Hopefully, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I hope it is so good. I hope it's not a disaster.
Yeah.
They could bring back a Crossbones and he could be the main villain facing off against Sam's version of Captain America. So I think there's a lot of scope here to take this character down a different direction. He doesn't have to be Steve Rogers' nemesis. He could be Sam's nemesis. And for Grillo to kind of turn his back on that and say, no, I'm done, when he's still got about 5 movies on his deal.
Yeah.
He could be throwing away millions of dollars here, Frank. Don't do it. Keep your options open. You're still youthful. You've still got a great physique. I see no reason why he can't come back. And
it could be a negotiating tool, John.
Could be.
Maybe his agents told him to say it.
Lord knows it could be, Stephen. I don't know. But look, I hope he does come back. I want to see more of the character. We didn't get enough. He was a very cool.
I liked the relationship between him and Rogers. It was very interesting, you know.
And obviously, he did have that moment at the end of Winter Soldier with Sam. They were fighting to and fro in that building. It get hit with one of the big sort of hovering ships. So there's bad blood there. So they could develop that in.
That would be good,
once this initial crap with this other false Captain America, whatever he's called, once that's sorted out in the first season of Falcon and Winter Soldier, we could have it come back. It could come through the multiverse of madness. That could open up a can of worms, a Pandora's box for all these great characters. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not Kevin Feige. I trust in the man to do what's right in the end. But look, I hope he does come back, man. My favourite Arrow stuff was when it was Deathstroke. And it's a sort of similar vibe. It's the Marvel's Deathstroke, if you like. But Stephen, look, I don't know if you're done. I'm going to try and transition over to a very different... Oh, there we go. We've got thanks for watching the stream coming up. No idea why that's coming up, guys. We are not done yet, so I'm going to come back.
But thanks for watching the stream.
Thanks for watching the stream if you have indeed watched it. It's been a bit of a technical cluster F, to say the least. But we are working on transitions and macros and whatnot, so I'll get control of it for tomorrow, hopefully, and it'll be a much slicker, more professional watch, if indeed you have watched it. But look, guys, what's your thoughts on the array of different topics we spoke about, from the Blumhouse David Koepp Kevin Bacon horror movie all the way through to Frank Grillo perhaps closing the door on a potential MCU comeback? What a stupid man that is, if that is indeed what his thoughts are, if he's not double bluffing and perhaps using it as a negotiating tool. What's your thoughts on it though? If you've got anything to say about it at all, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you do, then you'll see us again tomorrow for another live stream for MBE Movie News.